What's going on, Wolfpack? My name is Frosty, aka the Alpha Like Rock, and today I'm bringing you guys a new video. I'm sorry it's been so long since I put out a video, but I've been having some trouble building teams for Wi-Fi battles, just because it's personal reasons, personal life and all of that. But today I'm here with a different type of video, and we are here with our new league draft analysis video. So a couple weeks back, I applied to get into a few different leagues. One of them was the NPL Minors, which I didn't get into. Another one was the Battle Union, the TBU. I also did not get into that one as well. The GPC, that one I did not get back to. But the fourth one I applied to, the NPL, was looking, different NPL. There's two NPLs. This NPL. They were looking for coaches for their Division 2 Season 1, and I was lucky enough to be asked to join. And so I'm here, and we just wrapped up the draft. Actually yesterday, as of the time when I'm recording this. We actually just wrapped it up yesterday. So we're gonna start week 1 soon. Probably within the next week, and then uploads I'll probably see an upload after this, about a week after this video comes out. So, but yeah, we got into a new league, and I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be back into league format again. I am helping out with the RBL still. I'm still in the RBL, and I'm still doing that stuff. But unfortunately, I cannot. Unfortunately, I took over for somebody, and so they were pretty much like 0-8. So there's nothing really going on there. I just kind of had to build a team out of scratch of whatever was left over. But this team I actually got to draft, and I definitely want to throw big shouts out to our RBL buddy and our Discord buddy Loco Ghoul. I gotta throw him a bunch of shouts out. He helped me build this team, and he helped me give me some ideas for mons that we wanted to use, and mons I wanted to use, and kind of going back and forth and debating between certain ones and how we're gonna do it. And as of what this team was, there was only actually one real snipe of this entire draft. So luckily enough, we only had to really replace one mon. So there's one mon that's just kind of just the replacement, but it was not the original one I wanted. So, but getting into it, I feel very confident about this, and I'm actually very happy to know that Cap from Cap and Crump is also in this league as well. He got in as well. So our rivalry with Cap is still strong, and we actually do get to play him later in the season, which I'm supremely looking forward to, because Cap and I always have great matches. So. As for that, I want to thank Logo Ghoul for helping me with this, and let us get right into it. And with the first mon on the team, I wanted to pick some power. And as for having 7th pick overall, or 7th pick in the draft in the first round, I did not think this mon was ever going to fall this far. And it actually really surprised me that this was the first one of its type off the board. There were some interesting picks, but definitely... I definitely don't doubt the first overall pick being Faramosa. Faramosa is allowed in the league, and Faramosa was number 1 overall, as Faramosa is just Faramosa. If you don't know what Faramosa does, go look it up. It's ridiculous. The thing hits like a truck. So for this, I always wanted to use this mon. This was the original plan of what I wanted to go with, and what I wanted to build my core around. And I knew there were 2 mons I wanted to build my core around, but as for that, it was kind of hit and miss for what I wanted after that. But this was one I definitely wanted. I wanted this mon because I didn't want to have to play against it. I didn't want to have to build against it. And I definitely wanted to kind of assert some fear a little bit of fear into the league, because when you know you have to play this mon, you don't like it. I can already tell you that having to, when I was doing OU testings for teams, I hated seeing this on the opposing side. So with our first pick overall at number 7, I chose the fairy psychic goddess herself, Tapu Lele, aka our Princess Leia. I wanted Tapu Lele. It was always the first pick I wanted. Second pick for me would have been Tapu Koko, but but luckily enough, Tapu Lele actually fell. 7 picks for me to pick it up. So there were definitely some good picks going off before this, but Tapu Lele was definitely at the top of my list of what I wanted. It is ridiculous to have to plan against. It is... psychic terrain is amazing, and there isn't much that switches in on it. Especially, even if it's dark type, it still has the fairy typing, so dark types can't really switch in on it. There's not much that switches into this thing. The scarf set is ridiculous. The spec set is even more damaging. And at 130 base attack special attack, it's ridiculously hard. This thing can sweep your team or it can break your walls in 2 hits. So I definitely wanted to have this on my team. I wanted this thing, and this was the overall number 1 thing I wanted in this league, was to have Tapu Lele, and I'm so happy that I have it, because like I said, I don't want to plan against it. I do not want to plan against it. I don't want to play against it. I don't want to plan against it. Ugh. So with that, it snaked back around, and luckily I was like literally right in the middle of the draft. So it was like a 7th pick going forward and then 6th pick coming backwards. So I was like literally in the middle of the draft. So, which was kind of nice because I can kind of see what everybody else was building. But for me personally, I always like having wheel picks, because being able to either pick first or have the wheel pick is always what I want. And having the wheel pick was definitely something I wanted, because you get 2 mons back to back guaranteed. You get to see everybody else's pick and then plan accordingly. So in the middle of the draft, you're kind of like going halfway. You're not quite sure how teams are building up. But this next mon was another one I wanted to pair with it, because it makes a really good core, makes a really good combo. It's extremely hard hitting and extremely fast. That's what I wanted. I wanted something that could rival Pheromosa, as Pheromosa is the fastest mon in the league, and it's not as fast as Pheromosa, but it is really actually 1 point less than it. 1 point less. It is 1 point speed less than Pheromosa, but it still is very hard hitting, very damaging, very hard to plan against, especially with the speed tier that it is. It's so fast and is so damaging. I wanted to pair this thing with it, and I decided to pick up Mega Alakazam Alibaba as our Mega. So if you don't know how the tiers work, sorry, I should have explained this earlier. If you don't know how the tiers work, it's the same GBA tiers. You get 1 tier 1, 1 tier 2, 2 tier 3 picks, a tier 4, tier 5, a Mega, and then you get 4 free picks out of 400 points. The lower tier Mega you get, the more points you get for your free picks. So as it is, we chose a tier 1 Mega that complemented with this, and Mega Alakazam was definitely the greatest compliment to this team, as Psychic Terrain makes this thing even more of a damaging threat. So, and it's got a ridiculous speed tier of 150, which is the 2nd fastest Pokemon out there. So I definitely wanted to make sure I had some speed. I wanted some hard hittingness, and I wanted some really good wall breakers. When I was in the RBL last season, I didn't post a lot of videos because I didn't plan accordingly, and I didn't actually draft all that great. I thought I drafted great, but then I realized as the season went on that no, my draft was actually very terrible. I was drafting for types and all of this, and I drafted really bad. So, and I played even worse. So, but this time I definitely wanted to keep something more concise, more together, instead of kind of drafting for, oh, I don't have a steel type, I should go pick up a steel type, and all of that. But as for this, I wanted to have the core of Tapu Lele, Mega Alakazam, because that core, I've seen it a lot in the OU ladder. It was really, really stupid to have to play against, and some of them were really, really good. And so I definitely wanted to make sure that my opponents had to plan for this team, because it's very hard to play against, and it almost ensures that something has to be scarfed. And the only thing that can match it speed tier wise, if I max speed Timid, is a Timid or Jolly base speed 100. Is the only thing, and even that, it's a speed tie. So, sorry, I lost track of where I was going. So I definitely wanted Mega Alakazam. That was definitely what I wanted. I wanted to have Lele Alakazam because they're, like I said, they're both very damaging mons. They're both very hard-hitting wall breakers. As a Mega Alakazam, it's a Mega Alakazam. If you guys don't know, Alinsco had it in the RBL Season 2 in the B League that we played, and he actually had this on his team when we battled him in the championship, and this thing was so annoying to have to play against and so annoying to have to plan for because it's so fast. It is really such a fast, hard-hitting mon. Though its HP pool is not very high, and his defenses are very, paper thin, but as it is, it's still a very hard-hitting special type. It's a psychic type, has great coverage moves, and it can sweep through your team, or it can just wall break your walls very quickly. So it's definitely I wanted to round it out, and especially in the psychic terrain, which makes it immune to priority since it's on the ground and anything that's priority. So nothing can, unless you literally outspeed it, there's no way you can actually take it down in one shot, which is really great, because that was, I think, the biggest fault of Alakazam was falling prey to sucker punches, which, with its defense, basically one-shots it. But with the nerf to that, and also with Psychic Terrain, it just makes it such a better mon and such a great mon. So I'm really happy to have it this year. So Alibaba is coming to the team this year. for this league. So next, I wasn't quite sure. I knew I wanted a dragon, and I was kind of debating getting maybe a lower tier dragon, something like Flygon. Flygon was definitely on the table for a long time. He was definitely there because it was a tier 3 pick, and I could have used a tier 1 for something else. But I eventually went with this mon because this mon is pretty much, it is pretty much Dragon God pseudo legendary, and it is the one dragon everybody wants. It's the one dragon in any league. I don't think any league I've ever been in that nobody has not drafted this dragon. So it's just what it can do, is rolls, how it can work with the team is so good. So I definitely wanted to have something that could cover the weaknesses of Tapu Lele and Mega Alakazam. And no mon does that better than this one. I am extremely happy to have Cynthia or Garchomp. So with my third pick, I knew I wanted a dragon, and Garchomp fit the bill the best. This was one that me and Loco, we were kind of going back and forth about for a little bit, because I kind of said something about Flygon. He was like, no, he's like, if you have the points to get it, get Garchomp. He's like, you don't want to have to play against it. I was like, no, you're right. I definitely don't want to play against a Garchomp. And so I do have a 4 times weakness to ice, which, Garchomp's biggest major weakness is ice, but it's a Garchomp. It has 102 speed. It has a lot of HP. It has so many different sets. It has the wall breaking set. It has the sweeping set. It has the scarfed bandit set. It has the tank set. It has the stealth rocking set. And at this point, I did not have a stealth rocker, and there were, so I definitely wanted somebody who could have really good sets. There's the rough skin Rocky helmet set. The tank chomp Rocky helmet set, which is still a really good set for defensively. Though it's good it doesn't get reliable recovery, it does offer me a stealth rocker. It does offer me stab ground, stab dragon, which is really good, and electric immunity for one of our mons later on the team that I'll talk to you guys about, which is really great, and it pairs really well. And it's and the mix set, there's a mix set which is really good. Now with this, you might notice at the bottom right hand side, you're going to see that Z Pokemon. Now we do get one Pokemon that is a Z crystal holder. This is the only Z Pokemon that we will have. If we drop it or trade it, we get no other Z Pokemon. We get no Pokemon at all that can hold a Z Crystal. So with this, I don't see me dropping it anytime soon. It's a Garchomp for obvious reasons. You don't really drop a Garchomp. So with this, I decided to make Garchomp my Z Pokemon. So this will be the only one that will be allowed to hold Z Crystals, as it does have the most diverse move pool. And it can do lots of things, I mean, what seriously stands in the way of a tectonic, whatever the ground Z crystal is? I know it's tectonic something or another, and I never remembered the name of it, but unless it's flying, it gets absolutely obliterated by a ground type Z crystal move. So there's also a couple other things I want to try that sound really cool. As I did check a thing, and I was checking with I was checking on Showdown. I was checking on Showdown to see what Z Dragon Dance did, and I thought it would do something better, but it just heals. So I thought it was like it added an extra thing of attack, which is like, hey, you're gonna get +1 speed, +2 attack, but it didn't actually work out that way. So, but luckily enough, this thing doesn't get Dragon Dance. But there are some definite Z moves that are great possibilities here, as there's just a lot of stuff this thing can use. It can use poison, iron, poison, steel, fire, ground, rock. It gets Dragon Stab. It gets Poison Stab. It's Poison. Sorry, not Poison Stab. It gets Poison move. So there's so many different Z crystals this thing can hold. So many things it can do, and it's very, very diverse in what it can do. And I definitely had to name it Cynthia after one of my favorite champions, because it's Cynthia. Cynthia is probably my favorite champion of all time, and I love Cynthia's design and how she is as a character. So. With that, we have our Zmon, and we're starting to build this core. We definitely have the fairy, we have the dragon. So with this next pick, I wanted to try and get a steel type, but I didn't just want to pick up like any steel type. I wanted to make sure that my team had some fear. As it is, the top 3 picks, they're great wall breakers and what they can do. So you really have to play on edge. But I also I didn't want somebody to sit there and go, oh, well, hey, I have a Celesteela, and now this Garchomp and your fairy core is useless. So Celesteela did get drafted. It is there. It is definitely always a threat. I don't think I actually have to play against it, so I don't think I have to worry too much about it. But with this next pick, I definitely wanted to pick up a mon that could handle steel types, that could do damage to my fairies. and I definitely wanted to make sure that I had that. So with that, I decided, we decided to actually, we knew we wanted a trapper, and we were debating on which kind of trapper we wanted to get, and we were debating between the two different forms of this one, but we decided to go with this one because it was the best one. And we actually picked up Danger, the Magnezone. So Magnezone offers me great things. Steel rounds up my Steel Fairy Dragon Core. It also gives me Steel Stab and Electric turning, and it's a slow turner, which is not all that bad. Plus, it also gives me trapping on Steel types, which is really good for Skarmories and all of that, which I don't believe Skarmory got drafted. But there are some good Steel types walking around. So, you could bring this in. This thing is, I've seen this thing be a counter to Magearna, which Magearna did get drafted. So I just have to be careful because I do know Magearna does get Aura Sphere, which Aura Sphere is Aura Sphere. It hits hard, and with Magearna's buff like that, you can definitely, you got to wear it down and trap it in, which is a really cool thing. So I definitely wanted a Steel Trapper. Like I said, I don't think I faced Celesteela. I'm going to have to look at the schedule again. But I do know I didn't want to have to deal with it. So if I could trap Celesteela, knowing that Celesteela does get Earthquake for some stupid odd amount of reason. Yeah, let's give it an Earth type move. It's a flying Steel type, and Steel types are weak to it, and flying is immune to it. But sure, we'll give it an Earth type move. But there's definitely, you can trap it and then hit it with, Thunderbolt, do whatever you can do. It just is what it is. So, I definitely wanted to do that. I definitely wanted a Trapper. Sorry, I'm losing traction and thought sometimes. So, I definitely wanted that. It's got great, it's got great special attack at 130, and so I have two Mons that are 130 plus in the special attack, which is really, really high. And so these things become very hard-hitting special attackers, which is definitely what I wanted. So, this was kind of like I said, this was one of the picks I kind of went with because I understood its value and I understood what it could do and what it was used for. But it was one of those ones, like, I could have gone with a lower tier version of it and I would have been happy with it either way. But knowing that this one was a little bit more powerful, plus I drafted Magnezone in another season. I kind of wanted not Magnezone, Magneton in the RBL season 4, and I wanted to actually try Magnezone, so it's another reason why I went with Magnezone, because I actually wanted to try this one out a lot more. So with that, we kept going, and some teams were starting to get formed up, and I was feeling really confident about what I was doing here, and I knew I only had like one Mon that could tank, but I knew I wanted to get some definite good wall breakers. I wanted something that could break down the walls, so that way Tapu Lele and Megalakazam could sweep through teams. And so I knew what I was missing here was a physical type, something that could definitely complement with my dark weakness that I had, especially with Megalakazam. So I needed something that could eat that. And with this, we decided to use our tier 3 pick to pick up something that was really good, something that's a great Scarf potential Mon. And with this one, we wanted a physical powerhouse and getting something that had some really good stabs. So with that, we knew that fighting was a definite one we wanted Stab to have. And with that, we looked at it, we looked around, and we realized this was in tier 3, and we wanted it for our tier 3 pick. We kind of debated on what we were going to get first, but this one eventually became the first tier 3 pick that we picked up. And with that, we decided to get Hercules, the Heracross. Heracross, you know what it does. It is a fighting bug stab type, which is 2 great stabs. Fighting is always great stab. This is also, everybody knows the Scarf Moxie set. So this is something that could definitely break through your walls and then snowball into something bad. Has a very powerful 125 attack, a decent speed tier of 85, not the greatest at all, but still a decent speed tier, and some bulk at 80 HP, which is really, really good. So it's a wall breaker and a potential sweeper. So what's also really good about it is this also becomes a sponge for status type moves. So status could, it does get Guts, which are 2 really great abilities. It gets Guts and Moxie. So this thing could definitely work around things that are like, oh hey, I'm just gonna set out poison spikes or toxic spikes, and I'll be like, okay, well, bring in Guts Heracross, and it's Choice Banded Guts Heracross with Facade. And what does your team have that does not just take a crap ton of damage from Choice Banded Guts boosted Heracross with Facade? So I mean, it does a lot. So it definitely also makes them have to plan about using statuses as well, which is really good, which is why I wanted something like this. And this is why we decided to get this one first. Plus, we knew the next mon I'm going to talk to you guys about would make it to the next round. This is why we definitely wanted to get Heracross, because we didn't want to have it play against us, because this thing could literally run through a chunk of my team. So we definitely didn't want to have it against us. We wanted it on the team. We wanted it part of the team. So definitely a good mon to have. I love Heracross. It's probably one of my favorite Gen 2 mons. I loved it in the anime. I loved it in the original game that I ran through my original Gold, Pokemon Gold. I had this on the team, and I loved it. I love this mon. It was a great mon. So I'm really happy to have it and be able to use it this year. So with the next mon, we knew we wanted something. We had a rocker, but we didn't have a defogger. We didn't have a wall. We didn't have like a wall. We didn't have a tank type of wall to combat with Garchomp. So we knew we needed something, and this mon definitely got a buff in this generation, which makes it really good. Before it was okay, but it didn't have the buff that it had. And with this generation, it got access to reliable recovery and a roost, which is very, very good. Because now this mon just immediately jumps up in its value. So with this one, we decided to take a chance and use a mon that I've never actually used before, and I don't know too much horribly about it, but I can definitely plan with it and plan to work with it. We decided to bring Mantine to the team because we needed somebody who could soak up those ice beams. Though it is neutral, it has 140 special defense. This thing eats special hits. It eats an ice beam. And I've done calcs on like ice types, Glaceon, Specs Glaceon versus a fully special defensive set, I think does like 35%. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. I'm like, that's modest nature, full specs, full invested, versus a full specially defensive set. And it does ridiculous. Now, I'm not always happy to have a bunch of 4x weaknesses. And as you guys can see, there's like 4 mons right now that have 4x weakness. But it also makes it hard because you're not sure which mon I'm going to bring, so you don't know which 4x weakness to bring in, so you're not quite sure. Plus with Garchomp is immune to electric. So even though this thing is 4x immune to electric, it does only have 2 weaknesses, which is great, which is 4x immune to electric and rock. And Garchomp eats both of those easily. So paired with Garchomp, it's a very, very good pick. It's a very safe pick. So it still has some decent bulk at 85 HP. 85 HP is not, a bad base stat to have. So, it can get kind of bulky out there. So, plus it gives me a Scald User. It gives me a Defogger. And that's what we definitely wanted. We definitely wanted a way to get rid of rocks, get rid of hazards. This gives me an Earth immunity, which is really great. And definitely what we wanted. So, I'm actually really happy. I'm really happy with this pick. I was kind of iffy about it at first, but after looking at it and its potential, I'm actually really happy about it and what it can do. So this definitely does give some validity to what mons can do. Some validity to the team, and it definitely adds a lot of. I lost track of what I was doing. I'm sorry. So with that pick, I wanted to try and snag up my tier 4 and my tier 5 before, because at this point we'd pretty much gone straight down the tier listings and people were starting to get to their tier 4s and tier 5s, and we definitely wanted to get some mons that were good but not the best. We wanted to get some of the lower tier picks that were still really good. Let me rephrase that. So with this next pick, we kind of debated about it, and we looked about it. We didn't really debate. He gave me this option. He kind of told me a couple of mons that were there, and we actually forgot one mon was in this tier, was in the same tier as this one, and we didn't grab it first like we should have grabbed, but it's still good anyways. But with this mon, I have experience using this mon. I've used it in a past Wi-Fi battle. I actually really like this mon. I really like the buff that it received in this generation. It got an Alolan form, so we're picking up one of the new Alolan mons. I really like this set. It is, so for our tier 4 pick, we ended up picking up Alolan Muck. Now, Alolan Muck is very bulky in the special defense. It's very bulky, 105 attack, very offensive mon. It's thinking eat. It can eat, and it only has one weakness, Earth, which I have a couple of. I have Mantine is immune to it, so you go for Earthquake. Mantine comes in, and boom, I get free switch. I can double back, and I can do all of this. 75 defenses is not the greatest, but it's workable, and it has 100 special defense, which is still really good. It also does have priority, which is really nice. I definitely wanted some priority just in case Tapu Lele wasn't there, or I didn't bring it one week. I wanted some priority that could definitely get into doing some damage to certain mons, and it does have priority in Shadow Sneak, which is really nice. Excuse me. So it does have priority in that. It also is it has some utility options and what it can do. This also gives me a poison type, which is really nice to soak up poison spikes and to do all of that. This also gives me stab poison, gives me stab dark, which is I think the dark typing adding into this just made this mon completely 100% better. The only shame is that it doesn't get access to the move tutor moves that the old Muck does, because it would be nice to have things like power up punch and fire punch, thunder punch, stuff like that. It would have been nice to have those, but unfortunately with this generation right now, it does not have that. If they do the Ruby and Sapphire remakes, hopefully they will allow Alolan Muck to get some move tutor moves that that regular Muck has, which would be really nice, and definitely would be buff to that. But I like this mon. You can definitely see it. It's very bulky in the special defenses. I can actually counter a bunch of mons. It's a great fairy counter. It does get access to great moves, great stab. It has poison touch, which is really good. So you have a good chance of poisoning something, which is always really good. So I definitely wanted to have something that kind of can start spreading some statuses around, start doing some stuff too. So I'm really happy that Muck is here. Our Muck's name is always One Night Stand, because it always looks like that girl you had that one night stand with that you don't. No. What is it called? Oh, I should have called this thing Coyote Ugly. I might actually change this name to Coyote Ugly. It's either One Night Stand or Coyote Ugly. If you don't know what a Coyote Ugly is, go look it up. You'll understand what it is. So I really like this mon. I'm really happy to have it. I do have experience using it before, which is also really nice. A lot of these mons I've had experience with. Some with Tapu Lele, Heracross, Muck, Garchomp I have experience with using. Mega Alakazam I've played against, so I've had experience building against it, but I kind of know what it can do. Heracross as well. So as it is, the team is shaping up nicely, and that's what I was kind of happy about. I was really happy to have it. So for my tier 5 pick, there was one mon in tier 5 I was dead set on getting. I was dead set on wanting to have. And this is the one mon in tier 5. I was like, hey, this is my mon for tier 5. Don't question me about it. It's going to be this one. It's the best option in the tier 5 pool. And then from there are others that are, as good. But this one was by far, I felt, one of the best ones and one of the best fits to the team. So with this one, I definitely knew I needed another defensive mon. I wanted another defensive option. I wanted somebody who was another physical wall, so I didn't always have to run Garchomp as a tank set. So I always wanted to have options. I wanted somebody with utility. I wanted somebody with Heal Bell. I wanted somebody who can have it, because as you know, Tapu Lele gets aromatherapy, so Tapu Lele can cure statuses, but I definitely wanted a mon who could do all of that as well and offer me another stealth rocker. And so I want somebody who was bulky, reliable recovery, all of that. And this was the best tier 5 pick that fit my team the best. And with this one, I'm happy to have Miltank, aka Whitney, on the team. In RBL, right now, the coach I took over for, he had this on, and when you rebuild in the RBL, you have to keep 6 of the original mons. Miltank is one of the ones that I kept. So I have some experience using it, and I actually really like this mon. I've always wanted to have it on a league team, so I'm really happy to have Miltank, because this gives me another defensive option. It pairs well with both Garchomp, and it both pairs well with Mantine. It has one weakness, but it also it gives me a shadow immunity that Lele and Alakazam are weak to. So it definitely it gives me immunities to that, and then the other two are resistance to fighting. So they pair well together, which is always really great. Mantine is also resistant to fighting, which is nice too, because of its flying typing. But it's very bulky. 105 defense, 95 in the HP, 100 speed. What kind of tank do you know that has 100 in the speed? Yeah. Plus, it also has some really great sets. There's the curse set. There's the physical defensive set. There's the utility set. You know, it's a stealth rocker. It's just definitely, like I said, I wanted another stealth rocker. As you can tell, I've only got 2 right now that can set up hazards. So I definitely was concentrating more this season on breaking through walls than hazard stacking, like I've usually done in other leagues. Because some of the people really caught on that I liked hazard stack, and I would start stacking hazards, and they would set up and win. And it became a problem with, I did that last season, and I ended up getting 6-0'd because I used a Fortress. I used Fortress, and he set up agility on Gligar and baton passed it into an Uxie, and then Uxie set up Calm Minds, and then from there I got completely swept by Uxie that was at double the speed, and I had nothing to outspeed it or do anything to it. So from there, it was a very, God, I don't want to remember that battle. It was such a bad, like, it was great planning on my part, because I thought the guy was battling, we usually have very long battles. So I wanted to try to nip that in the butt by setting up a bunch of hazards so he didn't have to switch all that much. But it ended up playing against me. So this time I definitely wanted to make sure I had, like I said, a bunch of mons that could just rip right through your team, but I also wanted mons that weren't so easily ripped through, and this is definitely one of those mons. It has great reliable recovery in Milk Drink. It has a couple of really good abilities. So it gains 2 resistances to ice and fire and thick fat. It also gains an immunity in grass and sap sipper. It also can hit ghost types. I can go the curse set, put Scrappy on it, and nothing stands in the way of this thing. Ghost type. Oh, hey, I got a ghost type. Well, I'm still gonna hit you with return. Have fun, enjoy. And so it's really cool. I really like what this thing offers the team and what it brings to the team. So from there, we have 3 picks left, and with this left, we have our 3. Sorry, I need something to drink. So with this, we knew we wanted another defogger or spinner. We didn't want to always have to rely on Mantine defogging. So with this, we wanted something that was fast, something that was a mixed attacker, something that could do, very utility, what it can do. And we looked around, we actually found this in the tier 2 tier, which was very nice for us to find that it was still there. It offered us counters to fighting and fairy. And it was just a really good mon to have. And I'm happy to have Crobat, aka Raz Al Ghul, on the team this year. This is a very fast mon. 130 base speed is it's insane. It's a really, really fast speed tier. This thing ties speed tier with Tapu Koko. So if you're full timid and it's full timid, or full jolly, if this thing's full jolly, that thing's full timid, it's literally a speed tie at that point. It becomes which one wins the roll gets to go first, and either this thing dies or Tapu Koko dies. Which, you could run the Wakam Berry, yeah, sure, I'd probably survive one. You go for, cross poison. We could easily take out we could cripple Tapu Koko. So, it's also got a nice mix. It's got a lot of, when it came to Zmons, I was actually debating between this one and Garchomp before I eventually went with Garchomp. Crobat was actually kind of really up near the top of holding Z Crystals just because it has a really diverse move pool and what it can learn and what its past move tutor moves could give it. So, and it has a really great special attack. I mean, it's not the greatest. 70 is not the greatest, but it gets access to Nasty Plot, and Nasty Plot Crobat is a thing. I've seen the set before, and it can rip through a team very, very quickly. It does damage. It does lots of damage, and it can hold its own, which is really, really nice. This also gives me a Turner. I didn't actually write that down, but it does give me part of a Volt Turn core, as I do get 2 mons, one mon that gets Volt Switch, another that gives U-Turn, which is really nice to have. So this one, very utility. Like I said, another defogger. I get a fast defogger, which is always nice. Fast defogs are always good, so that way you can defog first, get everything out of the way, and then kill something. Or, they just sit there spamming Stealth Rocks. You kill that, then defog the next turn because it's so quick. And then you literally have their rocker gone, and, yeah, your defogger might be gone, but his purpose has been solved. His purpose has been fulfilled, which is to bring utility and what it can do. So I'm very happy to have it. I had so much trouble finding a name for this thing. Like I almost named it Kentucky after Cimararo and his Kentucky Crobats. but I ended up going with Ra's al Ghul because a lot of the nicknames I saw were like Nosferatu and a lot of vampire names. Alucard was another big one, but I actually saw somebody post this as Ra's al Ghul, and I was like, dude, I really like that. I really like that nickname. So Ra's al Ghul, anybody from the Batman franchise should know this name. It's a really cool mon, so I'm happy to have it. I'm happy to have another defogger besides just Mantine and another utility mixer into the mix. So I'm really interested to see what kind of sets we can build with this. So for the next pick, this one was not. This is the one where we got sniped. This is the one where we kind of got sniped, and I knew it was coming, and I was gonna wait on Crobat to get this other pick, but it got picked before, so I eventually went with Crobat because I went with Crobat first because I actually, funny enough, I sent this message to Local and I was like, hey, I want to pick up this mon first because Crobat will still be there, but this mon might not be there. And he goes, yeah, sure, go ahead. And literally like 10 minutes later, I checked and somebody had snagged the mon I wanted. So I originally wanted Cofagrigus. Cofagrigus was one I wanted. I love me some Cofagrigus. I have passed using it. I have it in the RBL team that I took over for. It was one of the ones that pairs nicely with Miltank. It's a very defensive mon. A very nice one. Gives me access to a bunch of, it gives me access to a bunch of nice moves. But unfortunately, it did get taken, and I did not get a chance to get it. So I had to go with something that was a little bit not in my. It was a little something that I've never used before, but I kind of wanted to use it. So I was looking around, and we debated this one as a replacement just in case Cofagrigus got snagged, and it did. So we eventually went with this one just because we wanted to have it. We didn't want to have it used against us, especially with as many psychic types as we have and some dark weakness that we have. I think we only have 2 real dark weaknesses. Yeah, we have a couple. Yeah, we got a few resistances to it. So with the 2 dark ones, we didn't want to have this thing played against us, and so bringing it on the team is really nice. So with this one, we have as our replacement to Cofagrigus, we have Spirit Tomb, aka Gios, on the team. And I don't know why I came up with the name Gios, because if you've ever seen Kogios, is it Kogios? Yes, yeah, Kogios, Lelouch the Rebellion. If you've never seen the anime before, go watch it. It's an amazing anime. Gios is this power that it's contained in our main character's eye, and it's only in his left eye at first, or it's left or right eye at first. I think it's his left eye at first. And so every time I saw this thing, I was like, dude, this just reminds me of, the Gios power that Lelouch has. And so that's why I named it Gios. But this thing has 108 into defenses, which is really nice. It is really nice. 50 HP is not rocking my world anytime soon. But it's got 92 in attack and special attack, so this thing is a very, very mixed attacker. Another thing that this thing can do is it traps. It traps and definitely traps psychic types. So even if they tried it, it is a pursuit trapper, which is really nice. So if I bring it in, it's like, oh, hey, I can either stay in or I can, it plays the whole thing. Is it going to be Sucker Punch or is it going to be Pursuit? Which one is he going to click? I don't know. You don't know. You're sitting there on edge going, crap, if I make one wrong move, I could possibly lose my mon. So there's also the calm mindset. The calm mindset is very common in the lower tiers. It's this thing. It just eats hits, and it only has one weakness, which is fairy, which I have resistance to. I have some resistance to, especially Muck. Muck eats fairy hits. It's what it does. And so does Mantine. Mantine eats fairy hits. It's what it does. So even Miltank can eat it. Miltank can eat it with the right investments. So Spirit Tomb was just one of those really kind of cool ones I wanted to use, but I just don't. I got it so that way it was more, so it couldn't be used against us, and I could use it in niche situations. Sorry, I'm getting really thirsty. But it was one of those ones I wanted to use in niche situations where it could come in and actually just really throw people off, because you're not expecting, you're not quite sure what it's gonna do. And it's really defensive. It does get access to Pain Split, which is really kind of cool. I really actually like that it gets access to Pain Split, because this now means it's like, oh hey, I got it weakened, and it just Pain Split over half of its life back. Yay! And it weakened me, and it weakens and heals itself in the process, which is really nice. So especially if I'm set up with a Sword Stance, or which this thing gets Sword Stance. I'd have to check its thing. I think it gets Sword Stance. I know it gets Calm Mind, and I think it gets Nasty Plot, but I know it gets Calm Mind. So, but it does give me Dark Stab, it does give me Ghost Stab, which is really nice. Like I said, only 1 weakness, gives me a fighting resistance, which pairs well with actually fighting immunity, which is really nice. It pairs well with Miltank, since Miltank is only weak to fighting. You know, they kind of pair well together, and it's kind of paired well in what they do. So I'm really happy about that. And so with that, we go into our last mon. This last mon was more just kind of a pick. I was kind of free to pick whatever I wanted at this point. In tier 5, I kind of wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to get. I thought about getting another electric type, like Zepstrika, a very fast electric type, but I kind of went away from it because I didn't want to have so many things to where like, hey, Earthquake runs through your team. I didn't really want that. But I wanted something that was kind of a hazard setter. I wanted somebody who had access to a different hazard, like spikes, somebody who had some utility, somebody who was also another mixed attacker, and somebody who actually has some priority. I wanted some priority, as both the last 2 mons, they both have priority. They have, one has Shadow Sneak and Sucker Punch, and this one has priority in Ice, which is kind of what I wanted to combat some of the Ice types, to combat some of the mons that were Ice types. So, or to combat some of the quad weak Ice types out there, you know, like Dragon Ground or Grass Ground or Grass Flying or whatever the hell is quad weak to Ice. Some definitely knew I wanted an Ice type is what I'm trying to get at here. I wanted some Ice type. I also wanted something that was kind of fast. With the last couple of, I have some pretty decently fast mons, but I wanted something that was also, something over the level 100 speed tier. And I kept coming back to this one. And this one, I'd seen it used, and I didn't like actually planning against it before, but I really kind of wanted to try and use this mon. And I'm actually happy to have Frostlass, aka Weiss Schnee, on the team. This definitely offers hazards. It offers me Thunder. It offers me the trifecta of statuses, as I call it. The T-Wave, Toxic Will-O-Wisp, T-Wave, Toxic Willow, which is the trifecta of all statuses, which is really great. Any mon that gets all 3 statuses is always a great mon to pick up. So some of them get them, some of them don't. So, Mantine doesn't get Will-O-Wisp, and it doesn't get Thunderwave, but it does get, Toxic, as everything else gets Toxic. But, having the trifecta of that in one mon is always really good to have, because you can have a fast mon who can cripple a physical type with Will-O-Wisp, or put something on a time, put their setup sweeper on a timer. And if they don't have a way of getting rid of the status, it puts it on timer, and then you just got to either wait it out or weaken it, so that way the Toxic will take it out later while sacrificing one mon. This is also a really good mixed attacker. It has 80 in both attack and special attack, which is not bad. 70s in the defense, 70 in HP. It's HP pool, it's not bad. It's not a bad HP pool. It's not a great HP pool. Defense is not all that great, but I mean, you're sacrificing your defenses and your HP for speed, and that's what this thing does. And I thought it was really good. I actually think this is going to be good. Everybody knows the Suicide Lead set. I have seen people use the Scarf. What is it? Oh, Scarf. Scarf Destiny Bond set. I have seen that used before. Even in the battle I watched with, I think it was Eric from the NPL. From the higher up NPL, not the Division 2, from the Division 1. I believe it was either Eric or it was Eric or Sheerforce? I don't know. The battle basically went, he had Tabu Lele, he kills Frostlass Curse Body procs, and since he's scarfed into something, and it's his last mon, he ends up struggling himself out because of that. So Curse Body is always a good thing to have. I think I have 2 mons that have Curse Body. No, I think I only have one. But it's still really good to have, and I really like it. So I think it's really cool. It was kind of one of those ones. It was kind of a free pick. We kind of were running around, and I didn't want to get another Psychic type. I didn't want to have another weakness to Dark, or to Dark, Ghost, and Bug. But I eventually get another thing to Dark. But I do have good resistances in both Muck and in Heracross and in what else is it? Spiritomb. So they all resist it, I think Spiritomb just eats it naturally. No, Spiritomb's just neutral to it, but I do have resistances to it, which is not bad. So it's fast. It can set up hazards. It's utility, which is always good. It does actually get access to Thunderbolt, which is really nice. I didn't actually realize that until later. But it also gets a priority in Ice Shard, which is always great. Priority, priority physical is always good. So I was really kind of debating between this one and Cryogonal, but I don't really care for Cryogonal. I really don't. I'm not the biggest fan of Cryogonal, and I actually wanted to try something else, so I went with Frostlass's Tomb. So with that, that is the team. There it is. There it is, right there on the top, as you see them right there. So again, we have Tabalili, Mega Alakazam, Garchomp, which is our Zmon, Magnezone, Heracross, Mantine, Alola Muck, Miltank, Crobat, Spiritomb, and Frostlass. So I am happy with the draft. I'm happy with it is. I'm happy with how it is. And soon after this video, probably about a week, probably next week, we're gonna have the week 1. We're gonna have the week 1 ups. So our first opponent in week 1 is the Tennessee Trevenants, which I cannot remember the name of the coach, which I can't remember the name of the coach, but the coach of the Tennessee Trevenants, he has a great team. He has the Tapu Koko mix, he has Tapu Koko Manaphy, and a couple others. So I don't know if I will have a team builder out, or I might explain, I might do post-com with a team builder built into that as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you guys did, if you guys liked the team, please comment down below, let me know. And let me know which Mon is your favorite out of this whole team. Which Mon is your favorite? Which one do you think is going to be the best member of the team and all of that? So, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did, please like, comment, subscribe, so that way you guys can always be caught up on NPL whenever I upload battles. So I'm hoping to upload more battles soon, especially since some things happened and I have a little bit of free time. So, I'll catch you guys later, Wolfpack, and stay strong. All right.